Hi everyone. Thank you all for joining us today in this really interesting webinar. If we haven't met yet, my name is Yossi Elchanan, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Adcore. We're a digital marketing agency and a technology company developing automated solutions for digital marketeers. And today we're lucky to host Magda with us. Magda is a true Google shopping specialist, working at Google for almost 6 years now. Hello, Magda.
Hello, everyone.
Magda has vast knowledge with Google shopping campaigns, and she has happily agreed to join us today and share some of her knowledge and expertise. So what we'll do today, we'll present our case handling, as a digital marketing agency, handling the migration from shopping to smart shopping. And I'll give you some background. So we'll start with some background. So Google launched their first shopping campaign in May 2012. Back then, some of us, whoever worked with Google Ads, called it PLA campaign, which stands for product listing ad. And I'm not sure if you know, but what was it named originally? If anyone can remember, it was named Frugal. Frugal was the name for Google shopping ads back then. So luckily they have changed the name, and thank you, Google. And 6 years later, Google announced Smart Shopping, which is a fully automated Google shopping campaign. Basically, Google's goal with Smart Shopping was to help advertisers generate more sales by reaching more shoppers across Google assets, and in this way increase the number of conversions and sales and impressions. Now, all we have to do with Smart Shopping, it sounds quite good, is just to set a campaign budget and goal, and then Google will automatically choose which product to show for who and when, using real-time signals, which was, at least I wasn't sure what is real-time signals and how it's going to work. But since we're a tech-savvy company here at Adcore, so we wanted to be the first to try this new tool. And we decided to move forward, but we had some concerns. So I guess some of you will maybe share some of these concerns with me. So first, there was a challenging 14 to 60 days learning period, depends on the client and the activity and the number of conversions that we had in history and so on. So we had actually nothing to do in terms of budget and performance management within these days. And today, luckily, this time period has been shortened due to improvements with Google algorithm. But back then, it was holding us back and restraining us from actually taking any actions. Second, we understand that the algorithm is based on past performance. So if we had any tracking issues or sudden changes in performance, for example, during sales time, then the algorithm would take time before it responded to changes. We saw it like with some changes occurring with the campaign performance over time. And point number 3 and number 4 are very similar. So due to the lack of information and ability to actually take action, we felt like we might lose control with the campaign. And I'll try to explain. Our inability to view the search terms and product bidding made it hard for us and specifically for the account managers to understand how we could optimize the campaign. So if we weren't happy with the results, what can we do with it? All right. And even though we had these concerns in our minds, we knew that eventually the advantages were significant for us to manage multiple accounts and help us to stay competitive, because we can save labor time and we might need it in order to actually generate good results for our clients. So we have decided to start a pilot and to learn the algorithm, developing our own best practice. So following Google's recommendations, we chose three clients we had stable performance. We made sure that they were veteran clients that have a good, long, trusting relationship with us. And we have arranged a meeting to discuss this pilot, presenting the product, its advantages, our concerns, and got their approval to move forward. And so the next thing that we had to do is to create the campaign structure. And as said here, follow Google's best practice when we created the campaign, because it was relatively new for us. And for some of the clients, we used a single campaign, and for others, we split the campaign by either profit margin groups or product pricing. So it really depends in the client activity. It can be like a relatively small client which has a specific amount of products, so we can use one campaign, and the profit margins were almost the same, so we can gather everyone together, all of them together. And for other clients, when we had to run multiple campaigns for different target ROAS goals and so on, then we used several campaigns altogether, all of them using smart shopping. And this was exactly the time when we launched these campaigns, and we just had to wait. So once everything was ready, we just sat there and looked at the numbers and tried to analyze it and see how it goes from day to day. And after 2 to 3 weeks, we have decided to just give it the time it needs. So 3 months after, we have analyzed the results, and actually they looked promising. As you can see it here in the aggregated numbers. So eventually our client performance increased quite well. And let me take you to some interesting numbers that you can see here. So first, even when the CPA was higher, the total revenue and ROAS and return on ad spend increased. So meaning was that we sold less low value products and more high value products. And if you have clients that set a target CPA or measure the performance by CPA or a number of sales, then this is definitely can show like a decrease in number of sales. But if you look at the total value, then you can see an increase. And that's really important, because this is one of the advantages of this algorithm. And that's something we cannot manually optimize for. We can do a lot of actions, but we cannot fully understand the entire funnel. Also, we have noticed that the smart algorithm's tendency was to increase cost. So first meaning was that we have reached out more of our target audience. So these are users that are within our target audience, maybe the same as the persona that usually visit our website, and we couldn't reach them in the campaigns that we ran previously. So we saw an increase in number of users, therefore we saw cost goes up. And this is something very important to also talk to the clients about, because we cannot continue with the same budget over time, as we see both results increase, and we want to keep up the pace. And what we've also noticed is that our shopping team, the account managers that manage the shopping campaigns, suddenly had a lot more free time. So the client managers could save their weekly shopping optimization sessions and actually take this time and put it in other efforts they wanted to promote. Each one of them has like 40 ideas to how to generate more sales, and eventually finally they had the time to do it. So it looked pretty promising for us, and we wanted to move forward with it. So to summarize, our clients were quite happy. Our workers were happy with it. Therefore, we were very satisfied with the overall results. Now, it's really important to say that since this pilot around 2 years ago, we have gathered a lot more experience with smart shopping. For some clients, it didn't work, but for many others, it generated an amazing growth, and this is something we're always looking for. So, and for some clients, we've migrated regular shopping campaigns to smart shopping, and for others, over time, we had to create smart shopping campaigns from scratch. So as time went by, we put together these, like, we kind of like thought what will make everyone, all the clients' performance much better, and we came up with these 4 super important tips. So number 1 is to, you have to talk to your clients and make sure they understand the reason and accept that during the learning period, performance might fluctuate. Now, if you have a client that trusts you, that's very easy to do, but you still have to make this call, make this meeting, make sure this meeting is specifically for Google Shopping, explaining what you're going to do, what we should see, and taking it from there. Number 2 is, do not make this move before or right after any big changes in stock, pricing, or demand. So the best time in the year to make this move is either in Q2 or Q3, meaning that now it's a great time of the year to actually think about migration, because Q4 is like all the holiday season, and Q1 is just right after the holiday season. So we definitely recommend to do it as soon as possible. Number 3 is to be patient. There were some tough days, and when the performance was low and we didn't know for sure if it's working or not. But we can definitely say from now that and recommend to give the algorithm its time and space to learn your activity. You'll find out that it works better than what you can achieve with manual work. And I'll let Magda to explain why afterwards. And number 4, you or your team will probably have more free time now that you don't need to optimize audiences and bids manually. So you can use this time to further improve your performance by optimizing your product feed. And this is a very important message, because if now you don't need to make any changes to the campaign and optimize the campaign, you probably will feel that actually you're not working. So you need to somehow first tell the client why they need to pay you. And second, you do want to be competitive. So you do want to outbid the market. And your way to do so is by improving the assets that you actually need to improve. And one of them, and which is the most important one for shopping, is your product feed. So you can do it manually at your e-commerce management platform. You can use feed optimization tools that you can find within the Google Merchant. And you can use additionally third-party tools that suggest these options of feed optimization. Now, we as a technological company, in order to optimize our product feed, we use Feeditor, which is a tool that we've developed in order to actually take product feed and optimize it for search engine marketing. So what do we do with it? So with Feeditor, for example, you can edit any product information you'd like to fully match Google's requirements, while taking into consideration the user's actual search behavior and search terms. So the title within your website can look quite good, but actually people do not search for this specific title. They search for other search terms, and you'd like to make the best fit between these specific search terms and your title. So you can actually create another feed, another version, and adjust it to Google. Additional option is to add custom columns to cluster products into margin or price groups, and then use this information to build better campaign structure. And in addition, you can filter certain products from showing up. For example, if you have 2 products showing for the same search term, and you believe that the same search term will target both of them, and one of them has a much lower margin or a non-competitive price, and you can easily remove this product from the feed, making sure that the higher margin product will show, or even take it as into creating a rule that will remove automatically any related products. So here we put together like some of the actions that we use for almost all of our clients that have been tested for a long time for increasing exposure, conversion rates, and ROAS. So if you have any specific questions or best practices that actually you are using now in order to improve your product feed, we will also be happy if you can share them with us at the end of this webinar. And we'd be happy to add them to an article we're just about to publish and give you credit for it. So we're very keen to learn and know more, and perhaps find new rules that can generate better product feeds. So to summarize this part of the webinar, so over the last couple of years since launched, Google Smart Shopping seems to improve itself. And as an agency, is definitely an essential tool for us and for our clients that want to reach like a good substantial growth. It helps to reduce labor costs. It helps us to generate better performance. And in order now to better understand how Google Shopping uses machine learning, we have Magda here with us. As mentioned, she's a Google Shopping specialist who will explain the bits and bytes of Google's machine learning algorithm. So, hey, Magda.
Hello. Thank you, Yossi, for the introduction. So what I will tell you today would be we'll go a bit under the hood. So actually I will visualize how the Google Ads machine learning algorithm works. And also I will go a bit more into details, like what is smart shopping campaigns, why we have developed it, and also with all the time that you are saving on like manual optimization, what kind of value you can bring to your clients. So let's start with machine learning. So what is machine learning? So the dictionary definition would be that it is a method of computing in which algorithms are used to anonymously learn from data information. So in other words, we teach computers to improve their reactions constantly, and this is already super crucial when it comes to the performance. The industry is already there because, well, as users, we expect to get more value for less efforts. And the user, again, expect a super relevant message at the time when they're making the search. So let's now take a look at actually, so here's, let me explain for a moment now before we run the video. So what happened here is that we plugged the Google DeepMind's DeepQ learning algorithm to Atari Breakout game. Maybe some of you have used to play it many years ago. And it's the same algorithm that we use for Google Ads and shopping ads as well. So you can see how it performs when playing a very simple game. So basically, the algorithm will play Atari Breakout. And what's important to know is that all agent is given is sensory input, and it's ordered to maximize the score on the screen. So no domain knowledge is involved, and the algorithm doesn't know the concept of a ball. So let's take a look at the learning period, actually. So what happens in the first 10 minutes of training? So as you can see, this is very sloppy. This is not a good game. So far, the algorithm is just learning what works to maximize the score. And now, after 120 minutes of training, it plays really well. But now we will take a look at something really cool. So it's basically like after some time, it learned the trick. So basically, what's the method that maximizes the result? And it's actually building a tunnel. Check this out. Like, I never figured it out myself, honestly. So basically, like, probably we're faced with this issue that you realize that with all the changes in customer behavior, especially in the last 1.5 years, it's growing really, really complex and time intensive to manage all the campaigns, to figure out what's the good audience targeting, what are the good bid adjustment, device targeting, so many campaigns, so many products. It's just like with all the changes and like really dramatic changes in the last months, it's just impossible to keep up with it. And that's why we plugged in machine learning to all the shopping products and also to smart shopping campaigns. So thanks to actually using machine learning, we can deliver the results and personalize results that the customers expect. So when we're looking for something and we are getting the answer and the results that is personalized to our behavior, to our location, device, and so on. So now let's take a look into more details what are smart shopping campaigns and how machine learning helps you maximize your revenue, maximize the revenue for your clients, and also maximizes their profits. So the way that smart shopping campaigns work is that it combines different signals. So first of all, it will use Google Insights. Some of the insights you had the possibility to optimize for in the past, like time, devices, location, and so on. But what is crucial here, it uses it all in the real time. So there are also some new insights like the user behavior, search history, device that you just didn't have access to. We combine it with the retailer insights, so the audience lists, the price and basket value, the category, ad creative, and the structure also of the campaign. And all this is combined in the real time to maximize the conversion value or maintain the efficiency. And it has amazing results. So when the smart shopping campaigns were launched, we actually took a look at the around 700 advertisers who agreed to have a kind of an A/B test between their current shopping campaigns and smart shopping campaigns. And what we have seen that they saw a more than 30% increase in conversion value on average, which is pretty amazing. And pretty much now the engineering efforts will be focused when it comes to shopping on smart shopping campaigns, because we consider them as a future. So you can see a bit on the timeline that we first launched just Google Shopping or the PLA campaigns, or that name that I actually forgot. This is something that I learned just today, Yossi. And then after they were launched on manual bidding, we launched machine learning to it with target ROAS bidding. Then smart shopping campaigns were developed. And what recently was launched was to align those smart shopping campaigns more to advertisers' goals. So for example, possibility of bidding towards store visits as well, and also bidding towards new customer acquisition, which is a feature that is only unique to smart shopping campaigns. And in the future, we'll tweak it more to include, for example, increasing the loyalty rate or maximizing the lifetime value. So now let's go to the details. So how to set up the smart shopping campaigns and how to set them up for success. So first of all, what is very important is to establish the most important business goal. So ask your client, what are the objectives that they currently have and they have in general? Would it be supporting the new product launches? Would it be inventory management, like, for example, maximizing the presence of the products that are high in stock? Or maybe there are some more granular revenue or profitability goals. It might be a mix of very different business objectives, might be different for different markets. Then when creating a structure, it's important to take into consideration the machine learning guiding principles. So pretty much just avoid over-segmentation. As a rule of thumb, create a separate campaign whenever the product group that this campaign is targeting will have around 100 conversions per month. So once you have this structure ready, you can just review it and launch and see how it works. So now I'll show you an example of a structure. So one thing before I show you the example of the structure is to to understand the difference between like revenue and profit and how Google Ads see it. So basically, when you tell Google Ads to maximize the revenue, it just sees part of the story. So it sees the cost of the product and also how much money you're spending on advertising it with Google Ads. So it doesn't see the cost of production, doesn't see the cost of a warehouse and all of that. And for different products, there might be a different profit margin. So for some products, actually, you'd be able and you'd be willing to bid more aggressively. So here's an example of the structure that you can advise a client on if they have two objectives. So ensuring the visibility for some products and maximizing the profit. So for the products that they want to maximize the visibility for, they would create you would create a separate campaign with very aggressive bidding, like for example, maximize conversion value bidding strategy. And you would push, when having this campaign, you would just like make sure that everything is well set up on Merchant Center level on Merchant Center site through, for example, custom labels or using third-party tools, so that whenever a client tells you, I want to increase visibility for this one, it just, by changing the label, it goes to the right campaign. And then two other campaigns could be, for example, a specific campaign for high margin categories and the third campaign for everything else. So the second campaign would have kind of aggressive ROAS target, and the third one will have a very conservative one just to ensure the visibility, but only when it's profitable. Another like pro tip that I can give you here would be to use Performance Planner or just like ask the client what is the margin for different product groups, and calculate by basically Performance Planner will be able to predict you with certain ROAS, what is the conversion value you can expect and how much investment is needed. And you'll be able to create either a point, a ROAS that maximizes the profitability. Here it would be 7, or for example, a ROAS that still has a very good net profitability, but delivers much more sales. So that would be the ROAS of 5. And later on, after the session, we'll show you a tricks where you can actually replicate this. And you'll be able to show, for example, for the client that with, let's say, ROAS, a margin of 40, you should have the ROAS of 261 to maximize this profit. Another thing that I would like to say here was something that Yossi already mentioned, was about the black box of smart shopping campaigns. This is a feedback that we have heard a lot from you and other agencies, and we worked quite a lot on improving this aspect. So what you can see, for example, would be the Insights tab. Nowadays, it's available on account level. So what you would see there is what categories are trending, are like the search interest is increasing for them, either week on week, year on year, or month on month, and what are the top searches. So for example, here, seeing that perfumes or fragrances are like progressing, that means that probably the client should prioritize this category when it comes to feed optimization or improving the keywords for search. So for now, this Insights tab is available only on account level, but but in the next probably 3 months, it'll be available also on campaign level. So you'll have more insights into what are the top trending search terms for smart shopping campaigns. And all the shopping reports that you are currently using are not going away. So you'll be able to see, like for different products or different product groups, what are the changes in conversion value, in the ROAS, in cost, CPC, if that's also what's important for you. And if you want to have more visibility into where the ads are actually showing, this is possible. So when you go to automatic placements report, you'll be able to see and calculate how much traffic is spent on display versus search, and also go a bit more in depth into this, like how much is spent actually on YouTube versus display versus mobile apps and so on. And also, if you have a client that's very sensitive about their brand and where they're showing up, you can use these reports to regularly check if the placements where the ads are shown are okay for the client and exclude them on account level. Thank you so much. I hope these tips were very helpful for you.
Thank you, Magda. It was really interesting. I like the idea of the reporting, and I also noticed some of our attendees are asking about it, so we'll talk about it later on. So, okay, if you feel now that you want to give it a chance and start using smart shopping campaigns, we thought, okay, what should be your next actions? So our recommendation is to first list all of your eligible accounts, take into consideration the number of products, number of campaigns, the business goals, and so on, making sure tracking is in place and you are ready. And this next thing would be to start preparation meetings regarding smart shopping. So explain the client or in-house why is it essential and coordinate the expectations. Third thing would be to activate smart shopping. Now you should give it 14 days if you have any existing regular shopping campaigns or dynamic remarketing campaigns. So give it like 14 days. The campaign will take control over your shopping and some of your remarketing and display campaigns. And after 14 days, you can pause your existing campaigns. And the fourth thing would be to optimize your product feed, your website, all your related assets that can first improve your performance, and second, give you an advantage, like a market advantage. And yet, we thought about when it's not a good time or case to use smart shopping. So if you sell only a few products, 1, 2, 3 products, which has like a very similar audience, then we recommend you to use a regular shopping campaign. If you only want to show ads on search due to any reason it might be, then definitely use the regular shopping campaign. And if you're control freaks or have any control issues, then definitely you can still use the regular shopping campaigns. All right, now we thought how we can also benefit for those of you who have participated in a webinar. So after this webinar, you will receive an email, and if you click on it, you will have a link where you can get like 2 months free access to FeedEater. So you can test it out to see its benefits and decide whether it is beneficial for you, for your clients and activity. So check your email after the webinar ends. And now we'll move for the Q&A session. You have the ability to ask questions on Zoom. If you look at the bar, then you have the Q&A session. There you can feel free to post any questions. We have received one question regarding the, I would call it the general strategy and the general changes within this industry, in the digital marketing industry. Magda, have you seen this question?
Yes, I can answer it. So I'll just read out general kind of sense of this question. So the general direction of Google is automation of the whole process, which we can see with Performance Max campaign, and it will create a situation where us, the PPC managers, are losing words and demand increase Parallel to that, Google keeps the data our client pay for and hide it from us and our client. See the change of search terms, which really has no benefit. And how does Google expect to be willing and excited about smart campaigns where the general direction is very concerning and seems to put more data in Google's hands, which can lead to abuse of power in the future? Yes, thank you so much for this question, Moshe. I understand that this direction can seem very concerning, especially to PPC managers and this basically is a big disruption in the way you and your agency was working because the rules of the game change. So to give you some context why actually this direction is happening, and you can see it also with universal app campaigns, local campaigns, and so on, is that we've been hearing a lot that our products are way too complicated, that they are very fragmented and people don't know how to use them and how to optimize well, especially when compared to some of our competitors, which have very simple products. So there has been a shift in the strategy that we focus more on marketing objectives of the client. So for example, with smart shopping, it's all linked to marketing objective of like increase, maximize online sales or maximize omnichannel sales if store visit bidding is activated. And that's also why whenever you see new product launches, you would actually see some of the insights stripped because of this, because when launching the product, it's just like important first that the algorithm works well, that everything works well in the UI. And once we hear this feedback, for example, like regarding the search terms, we implement this. So I understand also that the insights is not data, as you pointed out. So as I understand, the reason why this is done in this form is to just create the insights that are the most actionable as possible. However, like I understand that you can use the kind of raw data of search terms when working with it. So I passed this feedback very recently when we had the product prioritization round. So I hope this will be taken into consideration, but I don't have yet the return. But thank you for sharing this feedback.
I'll also give you my answer as an agency. So the way we see it, we see the world is going into a PPC 2.0 stage where PPC campaigns and mostly bid management capabilities are kind of like wasted because first, the competition is very high. And second, you just don't have the capability to manage all the different parameters that you have to take into consideration. So you kind of like play it with 2, 3, 4 parameters, not more than that. But you cannot take everything into consideration. And it's a different game now. So instead of managing bids and perhaps targeting and audiences, I remember myself like creating audiences for like hours over hours and managing bids and Excel sheets and so on. So instead of that, we can use the human resource to do things that are much more important for the business. You can optimize your strategy. You can create campaigns, creatives, videos that are much more appealing, that's talking about branding, that actually put your business, your client, your USP in place. And this is where you have to be. So instead of like bid gaming, you can actually tell the world why you have a better business than your competitors. This is how we see it. We have a great article in our blog about Performance Max campaigns and the future as we see it, actually talking specifically about your question. So feel free to reach out later on. So other questions, actually, we have to move forward. So all the questions we will try and answer via email. You'll have the time right after we finish to answer just a small survey and, of course, ask any questions you may have. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I believe and I want to, and I hope that it was beneficial for you to first get some answers, some of our knowledge and experience with smart shopping campaigns. And of course, if you still have any questions about smart shopping, about Google Ads, about digital marketing, feel free to reach out. You have our email address, and you, of course, will still be in contact soon. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day and hopefully soon weekend. And bye-bye. See you soon on our next webinar.
Thank you. Bye-bye.